After the mission is abruptly cancelled, Captain Raymond sprints toward the bridge, desperate to disarm the bomb hidden beneath the dam, but arrives too late. A car carrying the child speeds directly into the blast radius used as the bomb detonates. The vehicle erupts in a fiery explosion and plummets into the river below. To avoid being shredded by the blast, Raymond leaps from the bridge at the last possible second. Moments before he had contacted Colonel Ned, who had returned after planting the bomb. Seeing the car approach with the child inside, Raymond urgently orders Ned to abort the mission, but Ned refuses coldly. Ned values only the mission, indifferent to collateral damage. Later, on the shore, Ned confronts Raymond with fury, accusing him of insubordination and disrespect. He strikes Raymond in the face, then kicks him while brandishing a pistol, barking orders as if still drilling a recruit. But Raymond's patience snaps, he lunges forward and delivers a flurry of brutal blows, leaving Ned bleeding and barely able to stand. Raymond rushes to a nearby phone booth, retrieves a data disk, and plugs it into his pocket computer. A number flashes on the screen. He dials and a calm woman answers as if she's been waiting for his call. She reminds him the offer still stands, to eliminate 3 targets. He refuses once more, despite assassination being his specialty. She questions why he keeps calling if he won't take the job, but admits she enjoys hearing his voice. He confesses he feels the same. As he leaves the beach, a stray cat begins to follow him. He tries to ignore it, but when a bus arrives, he picks up the cat and brings it along. Later, he finds the woman standing quietly in a cemetery, laying flowers on a grave. He plays one of her voice recordings where she describes in heroin detail how Tosem tortured her parents while she HID, before killing them both, all because her father knew too much. Growing impatient waiting for Raymond to act, May leaves a message declaring she handle things herself. Meanwhile, Leon's son Thomas hosts a lavish party. The woman arrives as well, tension simmering beneath the surface. Thomas offers her a stack of cash, but she flings it onto a biter's tray, demanding full payment. She reminds Thomas that he saved Leon's family from ruin and won't let himself be cheated. Having made her point, she leaves. May makes her own grand entrance, with a limousine confident heels chinras dig. She moves through the crowd with a commanding presence. Thomas notices her from across the room, something about her draws his attention. He approaches and begins chatting. Using the alias Adrian Hastings, she tries to stay composed despite tension. Thomas chatters on about the bank's new branch opening where she on the lead. Slowly, she relaxes enough to respond, even as she dances with the man who helped kill her parents. The next day, Raymond boards a public bus where a gang of rowdy thugs bullies a woman. When a pregnant passenger boards with no Seat, Raymond gives up his spot. One thug takes his Seat, and Raymond politely asks him to move, but the thug responds with curses and attacks. Raymond removes his glasses, hands them to the woman, and turns to confront the thugs. He uses precise brutal moves, throwing one to the floor, kicking him in the chest, overpowering the second attacker, punching another into submission, and finally, kicking the last thug out the window. As the dust settles, stunned passengers watch quietly while Raymond calmly helps the pregnant woman into her Seat and reclaims his glasses. At a small bar, Thomas spoils some watch with a Miami lady he promised a date. As drinks arrive, he leans in for a kiss. She initially refuses, but then gives in used as their lips meet, his bodyguard catches the cartel boss eye. The guard silently apologizes and leaves to join a fight. The woman watches the brutal fight and is instantly reminded of the night her parents were murdered. Without hesitation, she leaves the bar. Passing Raymond, who watches her intently, she doesn't notice him. The boss catches up and warns her never to leave when they re together again. She forces a smile, quietly apologizes, and gets into the car. She continues feeding mission updates to the mysterious man through brief calls. That evening, she dances with the boss, while Raymond sets up a vantage point afar, listening to another voice recording where she expresses disgust at the man's touch. He urges her to quit the mission, but she's determined to see it through. Later, as they return to the car, Raymond's intense stare finally catches the boss' attention. Tove notices the boss says nothing. At a red light, Raymond deliberately walks by. The boss steps out, confronts him with barely a word, then draws a knife. Raymond remains calm and simply walks away, refusing conflict. After dropping her off, the woman, exhausted, goes home. She strips down, tears in her eyes, trying to pull herself together until the phone rings. It's the mysterious man. He announces stuck in control now, laying down the rules. She must never contact him first, avoid cartel people, and abandon her personal plans. She insists she can still help, but he warns that any attempt to frame someone will end badly. She senses nearby, looks around, but he extinguishes the booth lights, remaining hidden. Later, Raymond was at Charlie's brothel, the assistant to Thomas involved in May's parents' murder. Charlie enters Manny's office, searching papers after rumors of theft. As he digs, Raymond plants a bomb on the door and walks away casually. Charlie tries to enter, and gently stops her, offering a drink. Inside, Charlie finds discrepancies and shoots Manny in the head. As Charlie steps out, the bomb detonates, hurling him into a giant aquarium. At Leon's mansion, the blast is instantly recognized as professional, personal, not business. Caution is advised. Thomas wants to investigate, but Leon leaves the cult on it. The sun sets, but the old man's word is final. Raymond returns to his bleak idiot, greeted by his cat. He checks his systems, no abnormalities, and settles in the woman calls, thanking him for the explosion. She hopes to meet Samda, but he brushes it off, focused on the mission. He warns her to avoid danger, promising to handle the rest. Leon involves the police chief, introducing him to his bomb expert, a former CIA agent. The chief agrees to cooperate, but only on his terms. Left alone, Leon reminds the chief to keep things clean and discreet, sealing the deal with an envelope. The bomb specialist arrives at the station, inspects the bomb disposal unit's progress. The viewing party footage, a photo of Maya tears. He immediately takes control. When questioned, he maxes their gear and expertise, then calmly assembles a bomb pen with a 20-second timer from scrap parts. He hands it over, the team panics. Teasingly, he disarms it at the last second, teaching a lesson. All party-related events now go through him. Meanwhile, Leon's partners fly by helicopter to his beach house. There, the accountant, now the woman's lover, sits at her feet, caressing her skin. For her, it's torture reminding her of the night her parents were tortured and killed by Leon's late henchman. That henchman, now the accountant, has just completed the brutal hit. At reception, they tease him about bombs. He strikes but hesitates before entering the elevator. In the parking lot, the accountant inspects under his car, finds explosives, removes them, suspects foul play, and instructs the valet to park properly. He hides nearby as the car starts but doesn't explode. He replaces the valet and delivers the defuse device. Unnoticed, Raymond has watched it all. The accountant drives to the exit terminal, enters a code, and a countdown begins. Unaware of Raymond's presence, the car explodes when the timer hits 0, launching him airborne, strapped in. Authorities flood the area, helicopters circle. Ned arrives and immediately blames Raymond. At the beach house, Ned confronts Mai, slapping her and demanding answers. Their deal was clear, you do yours, I domine. But she hasn't completed her part. She insists she was integral, from crafting the aide to lure Raymond to keeping him in place. Before leaving, Ned grabs her, whispers about her parents' murder, and questions her vengeance. Tear-struck, she realizes the cruelty of the man she's entangled with. Suddenly, the cartel prince bursts in, Chuck tossing its favored expert. No greetings, only tense hostility between two men bound by necessity. The prince is rattled by the woman's distress. They exchange bald threats. Ned ignores them with proud disdain before storming out. Back in his idiot, Raymond carefully arms explosives on a small sauce while his cat chases rodents. On the beach, the cartel prince's son place, Raymond swaps the man's cap and sauce for booby-trapped virgins. As he leaps, he freezes, seeing the woman approach the prince despite his warnings. The device detonates, knocking both down. As guards scatter, Raymond rushes to the blast, but they hold him back. The bomb expert admires Raymond's clean work and watches from afar. When dust settles, he calls the woman, but there is no answer. Wounded, Raymond leaves the booth. The old man mourns his son's death. The expert offers condolences but is harshly blamed for failing to protect the boy, despite warnings about his stubbornness. The father demands justice, no excuses. Unknown what happened to the woman, Ned breaks into her apartment, posing that address as if missing her. News spreads that Adrian Hastings died in the same blast that killed the carteler. At home, Raymond opens a computer to find an old brochure she descent, proves she's alive. He rushes to call her. At the station, a woman answers. Ned is certain he struck the mystery man. The female officer poses as May's assistant, requesting a meeting, but Raymond refuses. Sensing something, he demands to speak with Ned. Raymond blasts Ned for abandoning the agency and breaking protocol. That strikes a nerve. Ned seizes the phone, screaming about Raymond's skills and a random shooting, vowing to end him. Raymond hangs up, losing his only lead. Ned rages, trashing the room. The bomb specialist dresses for a funeral. The eulogy doesn't match May's style. Approaching the coffin, he opens it, finding an old lady inside. The woman sleeps in beside him, and disarms her calmly. She clams only to meet and asks to live quietly. Ned bursts in, Gundron demanding the coffin opened again. It's someone else. He loses control in fury. Meanwhile, the couple retreats to a hotel. After all confrontations, they surrender to passion, kissing, undressing, and making love intensely, their bodies entwined under the sober's spray. Afterwards, she admits she needed to look Thomas in the eyes before fucking her death to escape the cartel. The next morning, Ned's assistant shows security photos of Raymond and Maya at the hotel. The guard confirms. Inside, she finds the woman gone, left a note warning not to trust her too much. Her escape is cut short when she meets the bomb expert in the lobby. She mutters that staging her death worked to lure Raymond. When pressed for his whereabouts, she stammers suspiciously. Knowing Raymond is inside, Ned orders her return. The escort lets her access the restroom, where she rips her phone and calls Raymond. Furious at the setup, he hangs up and plans escape, only to be ambushed. 3 men rush in, the expert holds back. The phone rings repeatedly, a man picks it up out of curiosity, triggering a bomb that hurls him out the window. The penthouse is rigged, the explosion severs it from the building, dropping it into the river with 2 inside. Raymond fights off guards, neutralizing attackers with brutal efficiency, punches, knife strikes, and cunning. The hotel alarm blares, chaos ensues. The saboteur finds his accomplice and eliminates him easily. The woman is dragged before the boss, branded a traitor. She recounts the night her parents were shot by the same men now losing to her. The boss nearly snaps, but the curator comes in, insisting she still has value. A calcomes in the former agent listens as the woman works her charm. The man refuses to risk a reckless asset but softens, agreeing to meet in an hour. The woman quotes her warning, "Don't trust me too much, keeping in wary." He drops her softly, sends her in with Mick connected, joking about the fun after. She insists it's their only chance. He raises his gun but don't shoot, instead pushing her forward, ordering his men to shoot if she betrays them. In a seafood shop, her Mick picks up Raymond's voice. Suddenly, explosions rip through nearby buildings, showering debris. The area is searched, but nothing is found. Meanwhile, the lovers sail away, the woman resting on his shoulder. Bomb teams analyze phone call patterns, tracing enemy routes. An owner at a restaurant don't recognize the man, the delivery man Mick. At the idiot, the woman wants to leave, but Raymond won't allow it. She rages, vowing revenge on Leon's son after learning he ordered her parents murdered. Raymond pleads for peace. She relents until sirens by. Helicopters circle, snipers take positions, armed men storm the building. Raymond activates defenses, neutralizing the first threat inside. Outside, a bomb truck detonates, checking the perimeter. Everyone goes on eagle alert. Their leader cancels the immediate assault, wary of the complex layout and traps. Suspecting multiple escape routes, he breaches the cordon, storming inside. The ex-agent cuts off escape paths from afar, announcing the cigarette pack is booby-trapped, any movement means instant death. The boss cares only about capturing Raymond. He rants about lost glory, blaming Raymond for reports calling him unstable. Now, vengeance. As he advances, he triggers traps, crashing into walls and corners. Raymond instructs the woman to move the cigarette pack slowly. He grabs it and orders her to run. Tossing the pack away, it explodes nearby. They dash through smoke, the countdown echoes. Seconds before the detonation, they escape with their cat as the building collapses. Smaller blasts chase them as they flee, used to head off arriving police. News reports claim Ned, Raymond, and May died in the rubble. At the estate, Leon thanks God the nightmare is over. But the butler receives a small package, a necklace with a pendant. Opening it, he sees a photo of the woman and her parents. A faint countdown sounds. Everly shouts before a powerful explosion erupts. Watching from afar, the lovers cut the transmission and speed away, laughing and kissing, free at last.